Hi everybody, it's Pam with Silver and Sparkles, and I have another project for us using Rosewood Estates. This is the paper kit by Pink Monarch Prints for June of 2025, and I just can't get enough of it, so we're making another project with it. So this is a folio. Or actually, I guess we could call it even like a little journal or notebook, because I added this signature in here using some vintage ledger paper, which I'll show you where that came from. Don't think I'll do it again, because I realized after I sewed it in that it was a little too fragile and it's tearing a little bit. I've secured it. It's totally fine with the washi, but I'll probably do something different in the one we make, but I'll go into all of that for you. It has this little flip. I think the one we may make together, I may do just an extra flip or something. But this is using a file folder. So this kind of file folder right here, mine happens to have the tab in the middle. And so that's why mine looks like this. I guess if yours has a tab at a different place, yours might be a little different, but we'll do the best we can to make a cute little folio with what we have. If you don't have file folders, you can just use some cardstock. So I will give you some measurements and things to help you with that. But if you are using a file folder, you don't need one exactly this size, because I'm cutting mine down quite a bit. But mine is a very strange size. No, it is 11 and 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5/8. Maybe that's standard with the tab, 9.5. So that's the size. Now I've already cut mine, and again, I'll put the measurements for you, but and let me show you where I cut. I just cut it and left the little piece here. You know how you can make these hold more by doing them like this and then putting them in your file cabinet like that, right? I cut the piece with the tab off without any of that part that has already been scored. So I just cut it off right there to start with. And then I folded it in half. And then I cut it down because I wanted mine to be 7.5 inches with the tab. So I measured with the tab 7.5 inches, and I chopped it off after I'd folded it in half. And then I also chopped it off on this side to make it 5 inches. So mine ended up being 10 inches. Now I did it this way because I wanted this tab to stay in the middle. I hope that makes sense. So after I chopped this off, I folded it in half, cut it to 7.5 by 5, okay? Then I took this section, I chopped all that little scored part off because I wanted to get a piece that looks like this. And this piece is 4.5 inches. And with this that now looks like a tab that was the other side of the folder, it is 7 1/8 inches. So if you want to use cardstock, go for it. You'll just need to adjust for the tabs when I give you some of the layering measurements. This piece is the piece that folds down right here for this journaling spot that I then made into a pocket, okay? So we'll go ahead and fold this one. I didn't fold it quite in half. I left that, what looks like a tab. In fact, I even came down a little more. So let's do that. I just kind of eyeballed it, I think. I think that's what I did. Okay. And I hope I did that. Yes, about right, because I've already pre-cut my layering papers. So once you have these two pieces, this is the base part of the folio. Now you have this left over and maybe some little, like a little sliver like this. I'm thinking instead of, all I did here was I cut some ledger paper, folded it in half, and I actually threw it on my sewing machine and sewed it in, and then it really wasn't doing well. Let me show you this ledger paper though really quick. I digress. Look at this. Ooh. This I found at a yard sale, and someone was doing some research, and I'm not sure the date of this. The research she was researching was 1756. I think her family history, where they married April 4th, 1947. It was Good Friday. So there's some family history here that I think whoever owned this was researching. Some Christmas music, A to Z. The monkey says. And then this one had already torn out. It has some really pretty aging. So anyway, I'm definitely going to use this. I don't think I'll use it as signatures, but definitely for journaling spots, things like that, because it's beautiful. But I may try to scan some of this in and make a fun digital. So anyway, we'll see what happens. But that was a find. Anyway, oops. That being said, let's get back to our project. I was just a little excited. I think I'm going to use this piece. I hadn't chopped that off yet. I said I chopped it off, but to maybe do another flip in this one. But if you want to put in and make it like a little journal with a signature with whatever papers you use, you can do a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. You can throw it on your sewing machine and sew it however you want. That's pretty something that I've demonstrated how to do. So maybe we'll use some folder and do an extra flip in the one we make together. We'll just see how we do. But first, let's do the basic construction. So we are back to our folder. You need 4 layering pieces, and they measure, if you want to do it like mine, I layered design, paper from the kit on the 4 sides. So 4 pieces that measure, if yours is my size, 4 3/4 by 7 1/4. And I have 4 pieces. I haven't decided what's going to be the outside of the folder and what's going to be the inside. I may make the ledger paper be the outside this time just to make it a little more, a little different. And then we'll do the inside with that floral. So to get I really liked cutting the paper, and I struggled a little bit. I think I have a solution. If not, we'll figure it out. And I also added a sticker up there. But all I'm gonna do is lay my paper approximately where I want it to be layered. I'm bringing it up from the bottom, which is fine, right to the top of that tab, and I'm going to take my pencil and then we're going to cut it out. So I'm going to just draw this curve, and I hope I got the paper where I needed it to be, so that when I cut this out, it's going to layer nicely on the front. Look at that. Yay! So now I have almost the exact same amount all the way around and around that curve. All right, we're going to do that again. Don't worry. So I'm going to set this one aside. Now I want to do one for the back side. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to open it up. I'm going to bring it where it's centered left to right with the score line, right up to the top of the tab, even though that leaves a larger place down there. And then we're just going to trace it and cut it. My pencil went a little wonky, but that's okay. I don't know why I chose to hold the paper this way. All right, let's see how I did. There we go. Now, of course, if you're not worried about this tab, or you're using cardstock and you don't have a tab, which this will be a cute folio without it, you're just cutting rectangles. Okay, so I'm going to save those 2 to glue on the outside. Now we're going to do the inside. And if I remember correctly, yes. See, I just need now with this paper the same cut. So I'm just going to use this one, and I could have drawn it. I'm just holding it together. If you're not confident, you know, just draw it. But that one should fit right there. Okay, so I have those two. And now I need one more, and they all started the same size, that 4 3/4 by 7 1/4. Whoops, but get it to the top like this. Wait, I don't think this one is cut to the right size. So let's double check. 7 1/4. What is this one? This one was not 7 1/4, it was 7 1/2. All right. Oops. Like I said, I just really like this, leaving the tab and having that. And a lot of us have file folders, and they can even be file folders that have already been used because we are layering over. I just have these. They've been in my stash for literally years and years and years. There we go. That one's going to be fine. Okay, so I decided it was time. I play with file folders occasionally and enjoy crafting with them. They are a wonderful base. I love the manila color of these. I have file folders, though, that are in all different colors. I think just through the years of being, of working and then organizing my own, you know, my own paper. We used to use these kinds of things much more for our own papers at home, legal papers, financial papers, right? Those kinds of things. And now so much is done electronically. You know, I have all kinds of files on my computer, right? So anyway, don't use them in the same way, but still have a lovely collection. All right, I am going to ink each of these and then just glue them all down. So while I'm doing that, if you don't want to watch me, you can fast forward. I always remind you guys of that. But, of course, hang out while I chat if you prefer. I like it when you guys, I can sometimes tell that people are actually listening because y'all comment on silly, goofy things that I say or other random things that come out during the videos. All right, what ink am I using today? I think I'm still on this Walnut Distress Oxide. It's just kind of what's come to the top of my pile of brown ink pads. And I just really love using the neutrals, the browns and things the most. And I'm really into the tea dye one right now. But I was using this for something the other day. And again, I keep grabbing it for a while. If you are new, welcome. Glad you're here. I hope that you'll consider subscribing and join us. We have a lot of fun. If you're a returning viewer, thank you guys. I appreciate all your support. And don't forget to like the video, give it a thumbs up, leave me a comment, all those fun things, okay? All right. So let's do, I don't think it really matters. This is going to be the outside. I'm going to glue it down first, the two pieces. And I am just using my everyday glue that I like to put in these little bottles. And sometimes I'm writing love. Sometimes I write messages for myself, positive affirmations in my glue. Just because then I know they're there. Okay. Oh, and the glue. The glue is Line Co. brand PVA glue put in the little tiny bottles. So you can find it on Amazon. I do have an Amazon storefront if you want to look at some of the supplies. I don't get all of my supplies on Amazon, but I do get a lot of the basics, like my adhesive, my paper, you know, my cardstock that I print on, other embellishments, things like that. So my ink pads. So if you guys need any supplies, feel free to check that out. I do earn a few pennies. I could have gone that way just a little bit, but it's okay. All right, that's the outside. They're affiliate links. So if you do make a purchase, it's no cost to you, but Amazon pays me a few pennies. Same thing if you use like my Etsy links. I am part of the Etsy Creator Collective, and they give me a few pennies if you end up making, you know, using my link to make a purchase. So thank you guys for considering using those links when I add them on there. If you're going to shop anyway. Now, you know, if you don't need anything, I'm not saying go buy, because you really don't have to. You can use what you have on hand most of the time. Like even this, you could use a piece of junk mail that's come that is that heavier weight if you don't have the plain cardstock, and then just maybe cover it up and don't leave as much of a border, right? I'm going to use some washi tape just because I liked how it looked on the spine. And so if you wanted to do this and then cover, you know, the edges before you lay the paper down, like with some fun washi tape, that would be cool. So many things you can do to use supplies that you might already have on hand. All right. Already it looks really good. This is where I used the washi tape. So let me find, I'm using the IB washi tape, and this is one of my most favorite kits, the Silver Flower Dream, but they have so many beautiful kits. And I do have a affiliate link for them too, and a coupon for 30% off. So look at that down in the description of the video if you want to see what they have as far as washi tape. Okay, I went with this one on the original, but because I'm putting the brown ledger kind of antique-y paper, I think I'm going to use this one. Let's see what that looks like. Let me see if I can get it going. And you can cut it straight, you know, to have a perfect straight edge. I'm going to put the torn edge. Whoa. I'm probably going to tear both. Now people have asked me, do you sometimes put glue? Because this is on where it's folding and I don't want it to lift up, I am putting extra adhesive down just to make sure as it bends and folds, hopefully it won't lift up. And I said I was going to tear, but I decided to cut. And this I'm just going to trim off right there. Okay. And of course, if you want yours to be perfect and lined up, you can do that. It wasn't that important to me. I just sort of did the best I could. Yeah, that's pretty. All right, and then of course we'll decorate the front with a little collage or something like this one. Okay, inside. Before we get to that, let's set this aside and let's cover this little flap. So this is the layering pieces for this. You need 2 if yours is the size I made mine, and this one I cut to 4.5 by 7 1/8 with this tab. So you need 2 pieces that measure 3 inches by 4 1/4, and then 1 piece that is 4 by 4 1/4, because we want to do that little tab, right? So I made it a little taller. So same thing. I am going to layer the paper, or, you know, get it as straight as I can, like that. It's going to be a little hard to see with the color paper I chose for this layer, but I'm going to trace right here and right here to get that curve. And I probably could have turned it and done it on the white side, but you know, hindsight is 20/20. So I can see it, and I think you guys get the gist of what I'm going for. Now let me see if this will fit. It may be a little bit big. it is. And it's probably just where I eyeballed folding this. Remember, so I'm just gonna eyeball it. So all I'm gonna do is cut a smidge off. So I think, again, I'm eyeballing that now it will fit. There we go. Cuteness. I'm gonna add a touch of ink and we'll go ahead and glue this one down. And again, if you have scrap, you know, some scrap cardstock or a folder you've already cut up and you want to make a similar project, you can do that and then just measure to figure out what size you need your layering papers to be. And again, I think it looks good. I haven't even inked the folder yet. Okay. And I haven't thought through that other flip or prepped papers for it, so hopefully when I get to that point, I'll have what I need. We'll have fun. We'll just use what we have and see what happens. Now, these pieces, I cut a few extra because I wasn't sure. Like, I think I do want to do, on the prototype, I did a contrast. And then I layered a journaling card, you know, or journaling space there. So what I have to decide is, do I want to do it where it looks like that? And then you open it up and you have one of these with some ledger paper. Or do I like this look better? I think I like using the same one. And we'll decorate it. And I think I even added, I added a little pocket on it. So more to do to make it cute and fun. Okay, making sure I had that the way I wanted it. All right, let's write the word happy. Happiness, whoops. I'm not happy that I dropped my paper with all that glue. We wonder why my pad gets icky and sticky. Because of that. I used to keep some wipes nearby and I need to start doing that again, I think. Okay, one of these pieces for inside. And of course, we're not going to see the back, so I'm not worried about layering the back. We're going to turn it into a pocket. Okay. Before I put it away or glue it or do anything, let's tear a piece of this ledger paper. Whoops, see how brittle it is? Again, I think it's fine for what I'm doing. I'm gonna just tear off a little bit at the top. There we go. And right here. Okay, this is gonna look fantastic. Now I do have to be careful inking it because see how it'll just crack? It was not a good choice for the signatures. Again, that one will be okay, and whoever uses it will just have to be gentle or layer some other paper along with it, right? But all's good because this one's glued down and it'll be fine now. And we certainly could layer here as well or something else, but I'm going to, just look, isn't that pretty? Okay, that's gonna go there and this is gonna be a pocket. I don't wanna glue it down yet because I wanna think through the other flip I'm considering. And I did use 2 pockets from the kit here. I haven't prepared pockets for this one because I was gonna wing it. And again, I was thinking about another flip. So this piece measures, this is from the the other portion here, and I haven't trimmed it down yet. It measures 8 with the tab by 5 1/4, and of course it's too wide if we do it this way. But if we plan a flip this way, I'm lining this one up. Do I want to line it up like that? I just can't decide. No, I want to make it where it looks like another little mini folder. Okay, so I'm going to fold it with the tab. So I lined this corner up right here, or I tried to. Getting the file folder to sometimes fold at a different place than it was originally is not always easy. Okay, so it can open this way. Can open this way. I think I'm going to flip it open this way. And then this one will flip down this way. That's what we're going to do. Okay, so I'll go ahead and glue this one down. This one, we're going to add glue to these 2 sides in the bottom. And make sure, and then we'll decorate and add some other pockets and things too. So get that glued down nicely. And if you want to, you know, I didn't feel the need. It was folding up so nicely. You could do a Velcro dot or something to close it, but I'm not going to worry about that. All right, let's get this one layered. And like I said, I didn't prepare paper, so hopefully I have some things that will work. We're going to need 3.5 by 5, 2 of those, and 1 that is, I'm gonna go with 4 by 5, 3.5 by 5 and 4 by 5. And this piece of paper, let's see. Let's go to the 5. And I said I needed 2 or 3.5 by 5. And then 1 that was, what did I say? I didn't write this down. I'm going to do 4 by 5. How wide is this? Okay. 4. I'm trying to keep the aging part on here because I kind of like it. All right, these will just be the same pattern because none of these were big enough, but then we could add some fun strips, some washi, some different things to bring some other colors in. Okay. All right. So let me get these 2 inked, and then we'll also do the little cut for the tab. Let's lay this down. About right there. I only have a little tiny bit on the corner. And then this side. Okay, and there might be another way to do this, but this is working, so I'm gonna stay with it. All right, ink. All right, let me know if you guys like projects with file folders. Like I said, I have a stash of them. I just think they do make a really nice, easy base to work with. And for, you know, the different flips and things like that. Okay. So this one, for right now anyway, I don't think I'm gonna sew a signature in the middle, but we can always go back later if we want to and do that. But sometimes just having a nice folder with lots of tuck spots is fun too. Even with the signature, this one's pretty flat, and could probably go through the mail without too much issue, you know, if you're worried about the thickness. Let's see, but without the signature, this one's probably going to be much, much skinnier. All right, good enough. Cuteness. All right, let me make sure I cut these to the correct size. That looks good. Put some little hearts on here. I'm actually gonna turn it this way because I may end up putting a pocket or something and I don't wanna cover up that fun aging there. And then same thing here, we'll see. We will see. All right. Whoop. Now let me grab the folder. Yeah, I'm liking this a lot. You could even sew some pages right in here. Wouldn't that be cute? So again, ideas, ideas, ideas. Now, depending on, this one has a little tuck here. I could leave this open to tuck at the top, or we could put something on either side. We do it this way. I'm trying to decide if I want to have I kind of want the tuck to be on this side so we could even have like some ribbons and things hanging out. Which looks which looks better to me. Do I like it opening this way or this way? I said I didn't want this at the bottom, right? All right, let's just leave it this way. Okay, so this is the side that's gonna stay open. So we're gonna add glue on the top and the bottom and then along where we folded it. Nope, I did that wrong. See, you always have to hold it by the side you want to leave open, and I didn't do that. I was holding it here, so it is going to get turned this way. I am going to line it up right here. Okay, so again, it isn't that important to me which direction I was going back and forth, but I definitely want it open on this side. So my mistake made the decision of how this one was going to open. There we go. Cuteness. I'm happy with it. So now it's just decorating and it's making it look pretty. And if we want to make some ephemera, I did cut some of these little pockets from the kit. I know I want one of these here. So I'm going to go ahead and put that down. Whoa. Again, holding it by the side. I want to leave open. Okay, we'll leave that. And let me show you. So Anna and Elena don't always do a release with stickers, but this time they did, and it coordinates with this kit. Strawberries. I haven't done as much with the strawberry part of the kit. I need to look at that. But I did enjoy these. Well, I'm enjoying all of them. But kind of to decorate a little bit the tab. I just thought that looked kind of interesting, so I was going to show you how I did that. Let's pick the one we like for the front first. I think it's going to be this one. So all I did was pull the sticker off, and if you don't have stickers, you could do a piece of paper if you wanted to with kind of a fun, you know, edge. You could put a piece of washi up here. Of course, you can leave it plain. And then I put the other half of the sticker right there. Fun, right? Just a little something, something. And I'm going to pick one for here. So a little bit larger. Maybe this one. Or I could go with the dictionary page. I am going to go with this one. I'm going to stay with this colors. The dictionary page, because of having that there, may have worked. Try to cut it straight. Okay, cuteness. So that was an easy way to just add a little bit of pizzazz, so to speak. All right, before I worry about the inside, let's do some type of collage or something. I better plug this in just in case I want to do a ribbon or something on there. All right, let's put the stickers away for right now. All right, I have tags, and I have all kinds of little pieces of ephemera from the kit. Those butterfly or birds, those aren't butterflies, Pam. All right, this is a little more industrial because I chose this ledger paper. So let me just kind of think through what I may want to use. I wouldn't mind a splash of some color or something. And I definitely liked the lace I put on the other one. Maybe let's do a tear and see what we think of this. I'm not even sure how tall I want it to be. Maybe something like that. And then, like I said, I have all, oh, there's a fun pocket. I have all kinds of pieces that I haven't even cut out yet too, that we can use. And here are the birds. Maybe I'll put a bird on here like I did with the first one. All right, this is a 2-inch punch, and it is a little bit bigger than where the border is, but I like having that little bit of extra, and that's the punch I have that I think works the best with the way mine printed. So there you have it. Okay, let's keep going. Let's see what we can come up with. And I did a fussy cut to add that pop of color too on the other one. So let me see. Where are my fussy cuts? This happens to me. Oh, look, there's another piece of paper that I mean, I have all kinds of things printed, don't I? Which fussy cut? Which fussy cut? I want some color. So one that has some of these maybe darker pinks. I usually try to have these cut, but I'm not seeing any in my pile. And I do sometimes overprint. But then what happens is it leads to other fun projects when I don't use everything from a kit. I'm trying to do better about that just because I do print quite a bit. And I do get questions about my printer, and I'm a Canon girl. I know a lot of people like Epson, and that's great. I have just always had Canon printers, and I think the color and the vibrancy work for me. Again, different settings, different paper, different printers all make huge differences. But I also have, in Canon, I think they're called mega tanks, and to help with, it still uses ink, right? But it's much more affordable because you're using the bottles, not cartridges. So anyway, if that helps anybody, I do have the current ones that I'm using in my Amazon storefront, but I'm also happy to share a link with you if you would just like to look to see what I'm using on a day-to-day basis. And I'm happy to share that with you. Okay. All right. I don't know where they went. If you watch the video I'm making with this kit where we made all kinds of pockets, I haven't finished these, and I used a portion from one of these collages for the first one, and I'm thinking I may do that again. Just deciding where to tear this. I'd already cut them into these triangles to make all these fun pockets, and I just haven't gotten back to it yet. And since I'm working with this kit, it's hard not to consider, would that look good here? I do love a good collage masterboard just to work with, because you get so many different papers and they're already put together for you when you're in the middle of a project. And so sometimes that just, you know, makes the creating even easier. I may not even use that thing. Let's see. There's my bird. See how it just sort of starts to fall together? And the stamp right there. Yeah. All right, that's what I'm going to do, and then I'll decide if I'm going to do a lace or a ribbon or whatever. So I'm going to bring it out a little bit. Okay, hopefully I can get this lined up where I want it. Ooh, I have a hair on my glue. Hold on. Don't want to glue that down to my project. So if you missed that video, I'll try to remember to link it for you guys, but that's where I went through and made just not a very detailed collage masterboard, but then added to it, and then we made some really well, I think they were fancy. I loved them. Extra decorated pockets using this kit. Again, the colors and everything, I'm intentionally wanting to leave that so we see the little bit of the both torn edges, hopefully. That's what I'm trying to say. Maybe like that. Okay, I have been known when I've gotten a really involved layering collage to take a picture of it. So that then when I lift up all the pieces, I have the picture to look at to kind of remember what I liked, especially if I've futzed with it a lot. So that's a hint too. You know, if you get one laid out and you're really happy with it, but then you've got to start gluing, snap a picture and then you can look at it as you go. Now for this one, I did this little piece of ribbon here, or crocheted lace, and it needs a trim. So we could do that, or we could try something different. I also have this fabric. Wonder if I've been playing with this piece quite a bit. Wondering if I cut a long strip, if I could tie a cute bow or something. Whoops, that didn't work. I went too narrow. Too narrow. All right, let's go here and see what happens. Yay. All right. We got to get the strings off. Nobody wants all those extra strings, or I don't. Okay. I think the colors are pretty. We'll just see what it looks like, though, when we tie a bow. Or I could even just do like I did with that one, a knot, and try to get it to lay somewhat flat. Let's try that. Okay, so let's see. It's an extra string. I said I don't want all the strings. Pull that out. All right, do we like it? That's the next question, is do we like what it's looking like? Okay, I do want it to lay, it does lay pretty flat. Oh, why not? It's different, but it's like a nod to the same thing. So I am going to, if my glue is ready, it is, do the knot first, get it about where I want it. Okay. And then, I'm trying to decide, I don't even mind it being loose. I may just leave it because I definitely don't want to see the glue under there. Here, I may do just a touch right here. Just a touch. Okay. Yeah, I love it. Okay, so that was easy. I don't think I'm gonna need this again, so I'm gonna get it out of my way. Okay. I know I get really far down on my mat when I'm crafting because I have all these things out. I'm trying my best to stay in frame. I hope you guys appreciate that I am trying. Okay, so the ephemera that you can make, of course, just whatever in your imagination you come up with. I do think I want some additional, I've got some space there. I have this lovely pocket back here. I cut this down just a touch. We can make kind of a taller chunky tag. Let's make it 2 3/4. It's not that chunky. All right, I'm gonna put that as a holding spot to remind myself I want something here, and I definitely want to do something cute coming out this way. This fits just like it was made to go right there. So I'm going to use this pocket that I just cut out from the kit. Or I didn't just cut it out, but it was cut from the kit a while ago. And I'm going to bring it, oops, I should have rounded this corner before I did glue. There we go. Good enough. Okay, picked up the wrong scissors for that, but I will forgive myself. Okay, so there's all kinds of sweet journaling cards, right? Tags, all kinds of things that we can make to put in there. I think here I am going to go with more writing space. So we are just going to tear a piece just like that. And I'm just using the folio itself to help me see where I want to tear this paper instead of worrying about measuring and cutting. And I do like the little torn edges. Get it a little inked. All right, let me think about something we can make to put in this pocket, because I would like a ribbon or something sticking out on this side. So we definitely don't want it to completely disappear in there. Let's go to this piece. This is part of this kit, and I haven't used it yet. So let's get it trimmed a little bit. I'm going to fold it in half to make it a little thicker. Let's just go with a 5-inch piece, and then I will trim it if I need to. I'm just not quite sure how big that opening is because I have not measured it. Okay, I'm gonna fold this piece in half. I definitely want it big because I don't want to lose it in there. All right, too tall that way, of course. A little bit too big. I think what I'm going to do is trim it this way. I'm gonna go to 4 1/4. All right, that's gonna be perfect for what I wanna do. Okay, so if you care, it's 4 1/4 by 7 3/4 folded in half. I'm just gonna glue it. I just wanted a nice substantial size for that pocket. And then I am going to get fancy. Fancy. Okay, this is what I'm thinking. This goes here. Let me decide which one I want to use. Ooh, I kind of like that. Turn it the right way. All right, we'll put that there. And then maybe another quick fussy cut. I'm gonna go with this one. I just love that little flower, so cute. And then we will put a ribbon on it, and might later plan to put some of that ledger journaling paper. Yeah. On the other side, I am going to round these corners too. I think that's going to look nice, since this had rounded corners. Why not, right? All right. A little bit of ink on the flower. And again, use whatever ephemera, whatever pieces. You might even, like I said, I have a lot in my stash that I could probably pull out and throw in these pockets and they would look great. Doesn't all have to, you know, come from the same kit. And I did a project recently, I think, like a one-page wonder, where I showed you guys I made it, but then I stuffed it with some things that I just had in my stash, because I hold on to the stuff that I've made. I don't hold on to all of it. I use a lot of it, but again, then I have it, right? I have it for when I am ready and need things for my journals. Okay. And this is just a little piece of my seam binding that I love. And it's kind of got pink and the edges. Okay, so let's see if we like that. Yep. See, now we have a little piece of ribbon hanging out. And I do think putting some ledger paper or something on that side would be a good option, but I'm not going to do that right now. What do I want to do on this page? You know, when you go to open it up, it kind of already is open, and then you flip it, unless I choose to do a closure, but I'm not going to. I kind of like it like that. Think of what I want to put right here. Maybe we'll just decorate it. It's, again, another spot where we could write, which wouldn't be a bad thing, but I think I'm going to put that there. Right there. I'm going to pull those stickers out here in a second, but I'm also looking at, oh, here's another bird. Let's put a bird in the pocket. I like having the circle shape going on. And we have all kinds of these kinds of pockets. I know designing these I think Elena even said that took me a long time, but they're just so fun to have, you know? So let's grab another piece of this ribbon just to staple on here and cover up that hole. And of course, we could have punched it out with the ribbon through it, but I'm going to do it like that. There's even these little teeny tiny ones that are just way too cute. Let's do 2 of these. Like I said, I cut so many pieces out, and then I get to this part and I'm like, oh wait, I want something I did not cut out. Of course I do. Okay. There we go. And those need little ribbons or something too, don't they? Let's pick. I'm wondering if I can, because they're so tiny. I don't know if this is going to work, but we're going to try it. I'm going to try to cut this ribbon in half. Of course, I wasn't even using the ribbon scissors, which would have made it probably that much easier. All right, obviously I do not need it that long. Okay, let's see. Is that cute or what? I didn't want too much bulk on these little teeny tiny ones, but look, very cute, right? There we go. I don't even think I've inked this little tag yet, but that's okay. All right, very sweet. Let me pull these stickers out and see what else I have. And I haven't done anything back there, but I think I'm gonna stop here in just a moment. I'm got a lot that we've done. Let's put that there. And do we want a something something? So we also have the flower, some of the fussy cuts, and a flower sticker too. Maybe this one. I love these stickers. Sometimes you just want to play with a sticker, right? Okay, let's not leave him neglected. I am going to round the corners to bring a little bit of where we have rounded corners here and here together. And then, why don't I try, let's see what it's gonna look like. I'm gonna use a little bit smaller. If I round these. I keep picking this one up, so I'm like, I think it's supposed to be used. It's already inked, so I'm just gonna add a touch there. All right, so I'm gonna do that. We'll just get ourselves a little layering bookmark sort of tag for here. Get it centered. And let me pick another piece of ribbon. I went with a little bit darker rosy red pinky color. So I think it looks good with those flowers. And I'm going to use the staple because it's fast. Look at that. Okay. Let me just put push a couple of things out of our way so that we can look at what I've made. I hope you will make one using a file folder. Let me know if you do. Would love to see your creations. All right, this was the original, and this is the one we made together. I'm just so happy with it. All right, there we go. Put something here if you want to. Got pockets. Very sweet. And then this one had the little signature. All right, let me know what you think. Have a great day. Until next time, have fun crafting.